Hello everyone, my name is Marian Guevara, and a huge hello and a huge thank you to anyone who's clicking on this video or just checking out the channel. Today I'll be doing another recommendations video. However, it'll be a bit different because it won't be about books. I do mention in my intros to previous videos that I talk about books, movies, and more. However, I feel that I've been slacking with regards to visual media. I think the last video I did regarding a film was my German owl video, and that's been quite a bit. However, today I won't be talking about film, I'll be talking about anime series. Now, I am by no means an expert in anime. I have watched very few. However, there are some that I have considered to be favorites. Not only just favorite anime, but just favorite shows in general. And I thought I'd talk about them, so I have 3 here for you today. I know that here on BookTube that there has been some discussion, talk about certain anime series, particularly One Piece. And I thought, why don't I just sneak in this video into the BookTube void and let this be a way to sort of introduce my favorite anime, and hopefully someone may watch this and try out these anime, and I can finally have someone to talk about with these series. And what's great about these titles is that they're very short. I'm not asking you to watch 100 episodes, 200 episodes. The first 2 I'm going to mention are only 12 episodes long, and then the last one is only 13. So it's not a huge time commitment. I feel like you can finish one of these series within like a week or so. Oftentimes when it comes to an anime series, it's an adaptation of a manga. Maybe the first season is like 12 episodes, and maybe they cover, I don't know, like the first 3 volumes. However, maybe the studio doesn't adapt another season, so they don't continue on the story that's happening in the manga. So there's that feeling of a story being left unfinished. But with these 3, the story is just told in 12, 13 episodes, and that's it. You're going to have a complete story, and that's that. So as it's mentioned in the title, these are my 3 favorite anime. I don't know necessarily that this is going to be for everyone, that any of these 3 titles are going to be for everyone. In fact, I know that all 3 titles are not going to be for everyone. I have certain tastes with regards to, series, film, just anything in general. So another thing also I have to mention is that I'm going to avoid revealing certain things about the plot, at least for 2 of them, because I think a part of the enjoyment came out of just going to these kind of blind and not knowing exactly like fully what's happening, because there are certain reveals that I feel that if I just tell you, it'll just spoil it or spoil the experience for you. If you like what I'm saying about each of them, I highly recommend that you give them a try. So yeah, without further ado, let's just start off with the first anime series. So the first one that I have here to show you may not be a surprise if you've seen my previous movie collection tour, and that is Death Parade. Now this anime came out in 2015, and it was written and directed by Yuzuru Tachikawa, and it was produced by Madhouse Studios. Now this is a special edition box set, so you can see how much I really love the series. And it's shaped like an elevator, which is very important if you've watched the series. And it actually opens like an elevator. So I'm going to show you a bit of the goodies in here. It does have like little art prints. So I'll just show you 1 or 2, nothing to spoil you or anything. So the first one here is some main characters. And I'll show you this other one here. As you can tell, it takes place within a bar. And the majority of the series takes place within this one bar. I would say Death Parade is mainly episodic. There is a sort of connecting thread throughout all the episodes, but for the most part, it is an episodic series. And don't let the one location fool you. That does not mean that this series by any means is boring. It is definitely not. I think it's a great testament to the writing of this series that it can be so engaging, so enthralling, and yet if you're going to be reductive, each episode is basically people playing a game and then having discussions. However, there are a lot of moments from these games, from these discussions that are so harrowing, and they're so moving. This series touches on a lot of concepts and themes that honestly, when I first watched the series, left me kind of bereft at times. I would sit down after an episode and just think over what I just saw. and then maybe have a little existential crisis as well. Death Parade invites conversation and discussion and encourages thought. And what's great about it is that the other elements of this series just help boost the story. I mean, I mentioned the gorgeous animation, and then the soundtrack as well. It's just so beautiful. This is a series I feel that each of the elements, whether it's the animation, the music, the story itself, the writing, it's all elegantly crafted and handled. Obviously, there are like some funny bits here as well. Like there are moments of humor, but it really is just a beautiful, moving series, and highly, highly recommend that you watch it. I am not familiar with where you can watch this series. I don't know which streaming service has it. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, please do. Like I said, 12 episodes long, not a huge time commitment, and I would love to talk about Death Parade with anyone. Oh, one thing I also forgot to mention is that Death Parade, the series, is actually a spin-off from an OVA, so sort of animated film called Death Billiards, which was part of a project that was meant to support up-and-coming animators. So it basically plays out as an episode of Death Parade. Now, I would not recommend watching Death Billiards first because it kind of will spoil the reveal I'm trying to hide from you. So I would recommend watching Death Billiards after watching Death Parade. If you finish Death Parade, and you want some more, definitely check out Death Billiards. I think it might be on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to check, but yeah. Now, the next anime that I have to show you is Mononoke. This came out in 2007. It was produced by Toei Animations, and it was directed by Kenji Nakamura. Now, this is actually a spin-off series because our main character, known as the Medicine Seller, actually first appeared in another animated series or anime series called Ayakashi Samurai Horror Stories, which was an anthology series of horror stories. And he featured in the story called Bakeneko. Now, would I recommend that you watch that first? You can definitely do so. I feel like it doesn't really matter because I feel Mononoke is much more episodic than Death Parade was. You can safely watch these out of order. It really doesn't matter. So if you want to watch Bakeneko before Mononoke, you can do so. If you want to watch it after, that's fine. I don't think it really affects your enjoyment of the series. Anyway, a little talk on the premise or the synopsis. This one I have no qualms of telling you what it's about. This takes place in the Edo period. Now, I believe that was the time period in the early 1600s to the mid-late 1800s. It was during the time where Japan was under the Tokugawa shogunate. And we're following the medicine seller as he's wandering the country looking for Mononoke. Now, Mononoke, as it's explained here in the series, is when an Ayakashi, this sort of like malevolent spirit devil from outside the human plane, combines with a strong human emotion like grief, rage, something like that. When the two combine, a Mononoke is formed, and it is the job of the medicine seller to exorcise it from our plane. Now, in order to do that, he needs to unsheath his exorcism sword. Now, in order for the sword to unsheath, he needs to discover the form, the truth, the reason. Basically, he needs to determine, what the Mononoke is, the form it's taking, and discover the sort of reason behind its existence. What was the human emotion that Ayakashi attached in the first place? So each episode kind of follows a murder mystery, not murder mystery, but a mystery type of format, as you and the medicine seller are trying to figure out the form, the truth, and the reason. Now, one of the first observations you might make about this series is the animation. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. The art style, the animation, it's very different from other anime. And, I have seen people describe this as avant-garde, and I think the animation is part of the reason, but another, I would say the major reason why this is considered avant-garde, is the story. It's the writing. This is a type of episodic anime where some episodes you're wondering, what did I just see? What exactly happened? And yeah, maybe that will leave people a bit frustrated, but I just love that. I love mulling over, kind of like looking back at what I just witnessed and trying to come up with an answer. I love that type of thing. Not only was I captured and riveted by the stories, the writing in the series, but I just felt so immersed in the time period. I mean, not just by, the clothing that the people wear or the buildings, the setting. But for example, one episode here is actually formatted like a Japanese no play. So it's details like that that help add to the immersion. And maybe you won't be like me, and maybe you'll find this anime series frustrating or just confusing. But I feel that even if you may not be the biggest fan of the stories, you might leave this anime series with an appreciation for at least the detail and work that went into it. So not only do you have beautiful animation and you're following a plot that kind of follows the format of a mystery, but you also have some action, because once the medicine seller discovers the truth, the form, the reason, and is able to unsheath his sword, there's a lot of action that happens. So yeah, if you're into an anime that's very unique, that you probably may not have heard of, check out Mononoke, please. And another good news is that you can actually watch all 12 episodes on YouTube. Okay, just type in Mononoke anime and you'll be able to find it. So not only is it short, but you can watch it very easily. So yeah, please check out Mononoke. And now I'm going to talk about the third and last anime I have to recommend, and that is Paranoia Agent by Satoshi Kon. Unfortunately, I don't have a physical copy yet, but yeah, if you don't know, Satoshi Kon happens to be one of my favorite directors of all time, and I just adore this anime series. Now, when Kon had worked on Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, Tokyo Godfathers, he had a lot of leftover ideas that didn't necessarily fit those projects. So instead of chucking these ideas into the bin, he decided to reuse them for this anime series. The series starts off following this young woman who has garnered a bit of notoriety. She is responsible for creating this beloved character, this little puppy dog character called Moromi, and she has a lot of pressure on her by her company to basically recreate her success, create a new character, and that will hopefully be just as popular. So they're basically pressuring her to sort of capture lightning in a bottle twice. One night, as she's going home, she is attacked by a young boy wearing rollerblades and a baseball cap, wielding a baseball bat. Now, after her attack, there are other people in the city that are then attacked by that same boy. And the media starts dubbing him Lil Slugger, or in Japanese, Shonen Bat. Now, what is the reason behind all these attacks? Why is this kid doing it? We don't know. And you're just left to watch. Now, if you're familiar with Satoshi Kon, you know that the man really likes to experiment with the surreal. And animation is such a good medium to explore surrealism. So yes, once again, you're dealing with another series where you're going to be left with a lot of questions, especially towards the end. Reality, fantasy blend in with one another, as it's per usual with regards to Kon. You, as the viewer, are left with a lot of questions, and this is definitely a series that puts a mirror on society, has a lot to say about society and the way we are, our relationship with fantasy and how we deal with the troubles in our lives. And what's great also about Paranoia Agent is that you can view it on YouTube as well, just the same as Mononoke. I mean, last I checked. You can just type in Paranoia Agent anime and hopefully it'll pop up. So yeah, those are the 3 anime I have to recommend to you. These are my favorites, and I would love to know, leave a comment down below. Have you watched any of them? If you have, please let me know. And if you decide to check out any 3 of them, please come back to this video and talk to me about it. I love to hear, your thoughts. Did you love it? Did you hate it? You can't stand it? I just love to have a conversation with you. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!